I'll be going through the answers quickly, so make sure your course book is open in front of you, and please stop and rewind the video as you need to. So, got your book open in front of you? Are your answers in capitals? Want to know why the answers are the answers? Then let's go. For question number 1, we've got to ask ourselves the questions, parents with high what? What is this thing that we need, or that parents need, which has to be high? Clearly we need a noun of some kind. Also we've got an adjective before the gap. Adjectives, as we know, modify nouns. But what kind of noun do we need? A singular noun or a plural noun? Well, here we're talking about parents. Parents, therefore, needs a plural noun. So the answer here is expectations. For question number 2, there's 2 things that we need to take into account. First of all, the language pattern before the gap. Some youngsters receive what? What do they receive? Clearly this should be a noun of some kind. Also, the second thing is the preposition of after the gap. As we know with these word formation exercises, if we have a gap followed by the preposition of, the chances are it's going to be a noun of some kind. So what is the noun that we need? Well, we've got 2 possible choices we could go for. We could either say payments, the plural noun, so we're talking about lots of individual payments of however much it is, or we can say payment, the singular noun, to refer to the general idea or the general concept. So here we can either say payment or payments. For question number 3, we have to have a look at the language structure before the gap. Should such bribes be based on exam what? Well, here, if we analyse it, we can see that exam is an adjective in this case and not a noun. We know that adjectives modify nouns, and so therefore we need to put in the noun. So what noun do we need? Well, we can approach this in exactly the same way we can approach question number 2. We can either talk about the plural form of the noun, exam performances, or we could talk about the singular noun, meaning exam performance in a general sense, which also fits the context here. So the answer could either be performance or performances. For question number 4, for these word formation exercises, if you have in before the gap, it's going to be a noun. Now, 95% of the time, it's going to be a noun. So what's the noun that we need here? Recognition, in recognition of something. Children with different levels of what? What is this that we need for question number 5? Of course, it's another noun. But what is the noun of the STEM word? Ability, in this case. Children with different levels of ability. For question number 6, let's have a look at the sentence before the gap. In this sentence, we're talking about a family that's got one child who's academically gifted. In other words, we've got an adverb adjective structure, and another child who has learning what? Well, learning is an adjective, so it doesn't follow the same pattern, but what do adjectives modify? Adjectives modify nouns. And of course, we're talking about many, or rather the context allows us to understand that we're not just talking about one learning difficulty, we're talking about learning difficulties in plural. So that's why the answer is difficulties. For question number 7, let's have a look at the language pattern before the gap. The child's feeling of what? Full stop. Here there's a feeling of plus noun. This is the language pattern that we've got. What's the noun that we need? Failure. For question number 8, just before the gap, it says parents should rely on their own what? There is a plural possessive pronoun, and all possessive pronouns, plural or singular, need a noun of some kind. So here we need a noun. They should rely on their own judgment. Now, judgment is a word that could be spelt in one of 2 different ways, either with an E or without an E. Both are absolutely fine. So if you can have a look at the board behind me, you'll see that both options are up there.